I'm sure that you all know by now that Kendrick Lamar has announced that he will be performing at the Super Bowl 59 halftime show. But I think there's a little bit more to this. In this video, I mainly want to discuss the positives and the benefits that it has on Kendrick Lamar. But I also want to briefly talk about the potential divide that it can cause in the hip hop community more than we already have, especially when you consider the aftermath or the so far aftermath of the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. Welcome back to the Voiceovers Podcast. I'm 24K Logan. So I'm going to start off with this. For me, all this tells me or potentially screams out to me is that there is a Kendrick Lamar album on its way. Yes, a full-length studio album released from Kendrick Lamar. I believe that that is a possibility. How high of a possibility, I'm not so sure. Of course, Kendrick is very calculated and he kind of spaces things out in terms of how he releases an album or how much he releases an album, mixtape, just a regular single. It all depends, but Kendrick is very calculated. But I do believe with the aftermath of the beef and considering how hot Kendrick is as a result of it, along with his crazy fan base, his popularity, and now he's going to be performing on arguably the biggest stage. It doesn't get any bigger than this, performing at the Super Bowl. It would only make sense if he was to release a studio album. And I think that he would release the album either at the very end of this year or it will be right before the Super Bowl. Think about all the buzz and all the attention that that can bring to him. And Kendrick Lamar is going to sell regardless, but I think him releasing an album right before or right around the time of the Super Bowl, his sales are only going to skyrocket that much more because of all the hype, all of the publicity, all of the attention that's surrounding him. Now, as far as the divide, well, think about this. The whole Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef, in my opinion, has showed the good and the bad in fans of Kendrick and fans of Drake. You have some fans who appreciate both artists, and even though they might like the other artist more, they still give respect to both artists, and they don't get so, I guess, fanboyish, if you will. Then you have the other fans, and this is kind of becoming the common thing. They love Kendrick or they love Drake, and they hate Drake or they hate Kendrick. You see what I'm saying? It's a back and forth thing between Kendrick Lamar fans and Drake fans right now. And of course it makes sense. They're still kind of fresh off of the beef. But now, naturally, considering how big of a topic and how big of a deal the beef has been for music, especially hip hop in 2024, now you have someone who a lot of people believe won the beef is performing on the biggest stage. That's causing a lot of issues. A lot of people are in a huge uproar. And what I have seen a lot recently are Drake fans downplaying Kendrick, saying this is a terrible decision. And to give a brief opinion on that, here's my overall opinion. Kendrick Lamar, I don't think it was a bad choice to choose Kendrick to perform at the halftime show. I mean, one of the most popular artists today, especially one of the greatest rappers of all time. It doesn't sound like a bad idea, right? And it's not. However, Super Bowl 59 will be played in New Orleans. And who is from New Orleans? Lil Wayne. Yes, another GOAT. He is also one of the greatest rappers of all time. and he is a New Orleans native, it would make even more sense for him to perform at the halftime show. And I'll take it a step further. Imagine Lil Wayne and the Hot Boys reuniting or performing together at the halftime show for the Super Bowl. That would be legendary. Fans of my era, my generation, and fans who are old enough to remember Wayne when he was with the Hot Boys. And I can understand a lot of people's frustration with this. Yes, like I believe it was Wayne's I believe it was his publicist or his manager, correct me if I'm wrong, but someone very close to Wayne was outspoken, and they were in somewhat of an uproar that Wayne would not be headlining, or he would not be performing at the halftime show. I understand the frustration because he is a native of New Orleans. But my thing is, this is not the first time that the Super Bowl has been played in New Orleans. And this was long after Wayne's career started. This was long after he released Carter 2, Carter 3, Carter 4, which I believe are his 3 greatest albums. We can debate about that another day. And nobody was in an uproar about it that I can remember. So it's almost like it's selective outrage, or if people are just finding, mainly Drake fans, people are finding another reason to come after Kendrick or to downplay Kendrick, all because of their hate for him, because of their love for Drake, especially with the beef. But that's what I'm referring to when I talk about the divide. It's like a domino effect. You got the Kendrick Lamar versus Drake beef. The beef is over. At least it seemed as if it was at one point, because there has been hints about a round 2, although Kendrick shut that down and said you only get one shot to win the championship, no round 2s. Comment down below what y'all think about that as well, because that was kind of petty, but it was a tactic. I see where he was coming from. And now you have Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl. It's a domino effect. And it's going to get a lot of people talking. And I've seen more people in an uproar. I've seen Kendrick fans that are just trashing Drake. And I've seen Drake fans that are trashing Kendrick. Once again, it's a divide. Now, I can understand the standpoint of, with all of this, with the beef, with the competition, it's somewhat making hip hop great again. Making hip hop great again. I don't know if I believe that, but I do understand from the viewpoint of it's making people talk. It's bringing a lot of attention. I get it. Controversy sells. We all know this. But I don't want this beef to continue to drag on too much longer. But if Kendrick performs Not Like Us at the halftime show, you best believe Not Like Us will be back in the top 10 on Apple Music or Spotify if it ever leaves it, assuming that it will. And it's just going to be more back and forth between Kendrick fans and Drake fans. And I mean, at some point it's going to get exhausting and annoying. We don't want this to drag on forever. As a fan of both Kendrick Lamar and Drake, I'm ready for the both of them to get back to dropping their music, getting back to their core audience and focusing on their music, their individual projects, way beyond this beef. But all in all, I don't think it was a bad choice for Kendrick Lamar to perform at the 2025 Super Bowl performance. Although it does make sense to have Wayne there instead of Kendrick. Thank you so much for watching. We've got plenty of content on the way. Comment down below what you think about this whole situation with Kendrick performing at the halftime show? Do you guys think it's going to cause more of a divide between Kendrick fans and Drake fans, or just hip hop fans in general? Would you have rather seen Wayne and even the Hot Boys along with Wayne perform, or are you cool with Kendrick performing and headlining? But once again, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And until next time, peace and love to everybody.